All right, welcome to the Sharp Mind Show, episode 103. I'm Nate, the Fit Future MD, your life coach. In this episode, we're going to be talking about why most people stay broke and how to escape it. All right, and so make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and check out all of our other content up here. Um, let's say I'm here to help you, here to get you better. That's what I'm here to do. So to do that, I give away affirmations for free. I give away uh, the health and nutrition plan for free. And I give you a nice little finance quiz for free. Right. So pick all that up in the description below if you're interested. Um, and make sure you share the show with somebody that needs it. Okay. So that being said, why most people stay broke and how to escape it. So the first reason that most people stay broke is they spend more than they earn, right? So basically, I feel like it starts when you first go into work, right? And you're saving up money for a car, right? And so why do you have to work? You have to work for the car. And then you get the car, and so you got to pay for the gas, you got to pay for insurance, so you get to work, right? And so people sign up right there, uh, going for a car that's more expensive than what they make. They haven't been able to save up the money to get the car, so they go get a zero down finance deal and they buy a car, right? And it starts right there, and it becomes that perpetual habit that I want things that I can't afford, right, or that I can't get. Um, so if you're earning less than you're spending, obviously there's two sides of that equation. There's a spending problem and an earning problem. So it's mindset, skill set, habits, right? So if your skill set and your habits aren't making enough money to earn what you want to spend, you have to work on your skill set and your habits to get there, right? That's why I give my affirmations away for free so that your mindset can get you to the skill set and the habits that you deserve so that you can spend what you want to spend, right? But right now, this is what you got. And so you have to say, okay, this is what I earn and this is what I spend, right? And so we'll talk about that a little bit later. Um, but you have to spend less than you earn, which means what you earn has to be more than you can spend, right? And so that's what I try to teach people, right? I try to teach people how they earn more than they can actually spend, right? And so the second reason that most people stay broke is they don't invest, right? So you have to invest in your mindset, your skill set, and your habits. And then when you have that, you have to put money away so that one day you don't have to use your mindset, skill set, habits to work, right? And use your mindset, skill set, and habits to get there. So you have to invest, right? You invest in yourself, you invest in others, and you invest in businesses, right? And so the easiest way to do that is through the stock market. Um, the next easiest one that's the easiest to understand is real estate. And then obviously from there, there's more and more complicated things that you can invest in, such as oil refineries, stuff like that, right? Um, AI businesses, yada, 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 right? But you have to invest in something. First thing you invest in is yourself with your mindset, your skill set, your habits. That's what I give away for free. Um, but then you go outside of yourself and invest in others, right? And so, what companies are getting the best talent out there, right? What companies are making the best AI? What companies are making robotics? Invest in those companies and get the reward off that they're working for as well. Like enjoy the reward with them, right? And so to get out of the rat race, to get out of, I work with my hands and, I'm going to have to continue to do that forever. And one day I'm going to be so old and sick that I can't work anymore and I'm going to be destitute and basically a ward of the state. Well, if you don't invest, that's what's going to happen to you, right? And so we want to get off of that. We want to break that generational curse, and we want to invest, you know, that kind of thing, right? So the third reason why most people stay broke is they follow the crowd, right? So they'll see their favorite athlete with a tattoo, and they'll go get $1,000 tattoo that's similar, or they'll put this was my favorite band, so I have their tattoo on my arm, like stuff like that. When that's wasting money not being invested, right? They don't have their own individual identity. They're not creators. They're consumers, right? And so you want to be a creator. You want your mindset, your skill set, and your habits to make you a creator. Okay, and so that is what you don't want to be the one that follows the crowd. You want to be the one that the crowd follows, right? And so if you're one of those people, then you have to adjust your mindset. Use affirmations to adjust your mindset. If you don't have affirmations, you can pick mine up for free in the description or in the bio. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to the channel. But don't follow the crowd. If you follow the crowd, you will stay broke, right? The crowd is broke. You can see it out there, right? 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. If they miss a paycheck, they're going to go destitute. They're killed with student loans, killed with credit card debt, killed with car payments. I say we don't want to be those people. We don't want to follow the crowd, right? And so we don't follow the crowd. All right. The fourth reason most people stay broke is because they focus on income and ignore assets, right? So I have some friends that are very high income individuals, right? They make a lot of money. They make a lot more money than I do, but they have no assets, right? They rent where they live. They have cars that have payments. Every 2 years, they get a new car, right? And they buy clothes, and they gamble and they do stuff like that. They focus on income and they have no assets, right? They haven't invested at all, right? And so this lifestyle is going to keep you broke. You can always spend more money than you make, even if you have a high income. So if you're focusing just on income, that's not going to work either, right? You have to be able to invest in something, right? And so you find something that you can understand and say, okay, I understand this, and so this is what I'm going to invest in, right? So whatever that expertise is, right? Some people have an expertise in medical stuff. Some people have an expertise in engineering. Some have an expertise in pharmaceuticals. Some people have expertise in robotics. Like, those are the places you invest in where you have expertise, right? And so don't ignore the assets and just focus on income, right? All right. And so the fifth reason why most people stay broke, is they delay financial education, right? So I work with some people that didn't even know that you should do the 401k match or stuff like that, right? Like, they have no financial education. They don't have an asset class that they can believe in. It's like where I started investing in my financial education was silver, right? And so I could say, okay, well, I can see where this silver coin is worth this amount, and they're not making, there's a finite amount of silver in the world, and they're starting to use it in phones. They're starting to use it in robotics. They're starting to use it in CPUs, and even in gold as well, right? The gold is in the iPhone. And you can see where, that's financially educating yourself, saying, okay, I'm going to learn about assets. I'm going to learn how to invest in assets. I'm going to learn what's a good asset, what's not a good asset. I'm going to learn what makes assets go to zero, right? And so, I also learned that too. But but they basically delay this financial education. They don't choose to do financial education at all, right? So keep that in mind when it comes to why people stay broke, right? And so now I'm going to go over uh, how to escape being broke, right? So the first way to escape being broke is to track every dollar, right? So the way I do it is I do what's called an all-in budget, right? And so say we brought in, let's make the math easy, $5,000 that month, and I'm going to put $1,000 into investing. Well, that leaves $4,000 left for us to spend. And as long as we don't go over that $4,000, then we are doing well, right? And so that is the way that I choose to track because it's the easiest way to track. And then we also try to put everything on a credit card so that the credit card tracks where we bought things, right? So did we spend money on food? You know, where, how much will we spend on food? It tracks it for you, right? It keeps up with it. So Citibank does that for us. Whereas, you know, if you try to say, okay, well, I'm only going to spend 500 this month on this, 500 this month on that, it makes your life not enjoyable, right? Where you go, so well, I can't buy this because we already used our $200, and you just keep breaking your rules anyway, right? So I track every dollar using an all-in budget, and I choose to take a percentage and invest it immediately, like it's almost like a tax, right? So the number one way to escape being broke is to track every dollar, right? So that's number one. The second way to escape being broke is to eliminate bad debts, right? And so bad debt is any kind of consumer debt. You basically want to put yourself on the opposite side of that with investing, right? You don't want, so when you owe people money, that interest on that money that you owe them is you being on is their investment into you, right? Whereas you're not investing. So you want to put yourself on the opposite side of that. So if you're losing 5% because or if you're losing 20% because you have credit card debt, obviously you want to get into something that's making 20% instead, right? And so how do you eliminate bad debt? Well, the number one way to eliminate bad debt is to use your tax refund, right? So all these people out there get a tax refund every year. It's $3,000-$4,000. You can jumpstart getting rid of bad debt with that $3,000-$4,000. Take that and get rid of some payments. Start with the lowest. So if you got something, a credit card that's got $1,000 up there, go ahead and get rid of that, and then you don't have that payment anymore, and you can take with that payment and invest it instead, or invest it you basically keep going up and eliminating that bad debt, right? And so the worst debt out there is debt that you can't get rid of. So that's credit card debt and student loan debt, right? Some things you can kind of get away with a little bit. You obviously you want high interest vehicle loans if you have to have a vehicle. But the best way is to save up for a vehicle, whatever that payment was going to be. So say you have a hoopty right now, and you figure out whatever that payment's going to be for what the car you want. And you say, okay, well, for the next 3 years, I'm going to put this payment away until I have the cash to purchase the vehicle that I want. Right. And so that's how you eliminate bad debt. The next way to end being broke is to consistently invest, right? You use your mindset, your skill set, and your habits to learn how to invest in the thing that you want to invest in, right? I personally do stocks. I like the stock market, and I also like real estate, but I don't have as much access. It's harder to get access to real estate as a regular person. When you're making millions of dollars, you can get access to real estate all you want to. But if you're only making 60 to 80,000 a year, if you're making 30,000, making low money, it's easier for me to get access to the stock market, right? And so Ford shares are like $14 right now. Like, there's no reason anybody cannot come up with $14 to invest, right? And so you make that a habit. So when I started with silver coins, right? The silver coins were $20. And so I made investments consistently into silver coins at $20. And now silver's trading for over $100, right? So I 5x'd my silver coins just on the silver, not actually on just the what's printed on the coin or anything like that, or whether it's a perfect coin, that kind of thing. So, find something that you can figure out and definitely learn how to do that, right? The fourth way to not be broke is obviously to increase your income, right? Obviously, you're making 30 grand a year. That's pretty tough to find the money to invest in. But, it still can be done. But you want to increase your mindset, your skill set, and your habits, mostly your skill set and your habits, so that you can increase your income, right? And so I personally choose to have a business doing that, InstraSale, right? And so I believe in faith, family, fitness, and finances. And so that's what InstraSale is about. Go check out our newest drop, Faith, that anytime you want to. Go check out our newest drop, Faith, Fitness, Family, and Finances. And but increase your income, right? And so some people, choose to wait tables. Some people choose to deliver pizzas. Whatever you need to do to increase your income. But when you increase your income, you have to invest that income. So eventually, you're not having to work to have that extra income, right? So, all right. And then lastly, the way not to be broke is to think like an owner and not a worker, right? So if you're in the corporate world, right, you want to do your life like you are an owner of the business, right? What would you do if you're the owner? You're not going to be sitting around piddling, waiting on assignments. You're going to find assignments and do them. You're the owner, right? You're going to make sure that everything is perfect. You're going to make sure everybody's job is done right. You're going to be the one that they can't live without, right? And so if you are that person, you will be paid better. But like I said, I personally prefer business, right? I prefer to own the business and to have something that I believe in, that I know is 100%. So when I wear this shirt, I know what it means on my chest. I know that it's a quality shirt. This shirt that I personally have on has over 100 washes, and it still looks amazing, right? I know that that's the kind of quality that InstraSale brings. And so I hope that you choose to go to InstraSale.com and check that out, just based on that, not even based on all the help that I give you on this channel or anything like that. But you got to think like an owner, not just a worker. And the easy way to do that is to become an owner, right? And so that's what I teach. I'm Nate, and I'm a life coach, and I help people from all walks of life, no matter where you're at, no matter what money situation you're in. If you're that person that needs to go from this level to this level, I can help you do that. And I do 1 year thing. And if after that 1 year I haven't helped you, then I give you your money back completely. So be sure to check that out. Make sure you share this show with somebody. This is episode 103 of the Sharp Mind Show. Share this show with somebody. Make sure that people out there get the help that they deserve. So if you got somebody that needs help not being broke, then make sure you show them this episode. I'm Nate. I'm the Fit Future MD. Make sure you check out my wife's newest book, which is Dylan and Davina, The Adventure Begins. It's available on Amazon, also in the link in the description. She's a best-selling Amazon author. So be sure to check her out. If you got nieces, nephews, children of your own, be sure to check that book out. You will have your child wanting to read this book over and over and over again and loving the adventure that it shows. Let's say shop at InstraSale.com, pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.